They say money can buy everything, but sometimes, love hidden inside a broken heart does what millions of dollars never can. This is not just the story of a job. It's the story of three little hearts, a father who had forgotten how to love, and a mother whose own heart was once shattered, but who still chose to love again, not for herself, but for others. If you believe in the power of pure love and second chances, don't forget to like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more heart-touching stories like this one. Now, let's begin, the story that melted even the coldest walls built by pain. The sun rose over one of the grandest mansions in New York. Every morning, the sound of chaos echoed through the halls. Not the chaos of servants or meetings, but the screams, giggles, and tantrums of Riley, Raina, and Rory, the Carter triplets. No one could survive them. Literally, no nanny lasted more than a day. One had her hair set on fire with birthday candles. Another was pushed into the pool with her designer bag still on her shoulder. One even locked herself in the bathroom crying after just 3 hours. At the heart of it all was Ethan Carter, a billionaire, a genius entrepreneur, and a heartbroken widower. His wife, Emily, had died in a car accident 2 years ago. Since then, Ethan buried himself in work. The children, once full of light, had turned into wild tornadoes of confusion, grief, and chaos. They didn't need rules. They didn't need toys. They needed love. But love had long left that mansion. Until one rainy afternoon, there was a knock on the grand iron door. A woman stood there, so ordinary, she looked like a misplaced raindrop on a diamond. Her name was Maya, and by her side stood her 5-year-old daughter, Sana, clutching her worn-out pink bunny. Maya wasn't dressed like the other nannies. She had no fancy resume. No agency backing. No fake smile. Just tired eyes, an honest voice, and a sense of calm that even the pouring rain couldn't wash away. Ethan, irritated, asked, "You don't have experience?" Maya replied, "I don't have papers. But I know what it's like to be a child who just wanted to be heard." That one sentence, soft as a whisper, somehow reached the locked-up part of Ethan's heart. "So," he said, "just one day. That's all I'm offering." He expected her to give up by lunchtime. But she didn't. That morning, Maya sat on the floor and asked the triplets, "Do you all know what color your heart is?" They looked confused but curious. No nanny had ever asked them anything like that. They always gave orders. Maya asked questions. She listened. That day, nothing broke. No one screamed. In fact, the triplets invited Maya to their pretend tea party, saying she smelled like pancakes. When Ethan returned home and saw them all giggling, his heart sank, and then floated. For the first time, there was. The next few weeks felt like magic, but the kind of magic that comes from effort, not wands. Maya rewrote their routines. She made bedtime storybooks where their mom, Emily, became a fairy who still watched over them. She helped them talk about grief instead of acting out. She made them laugh. She made them feel safe. Ethan watched from a distance. He hadn't laughed in years. But seeing his kids smile again, he started to remember what hope felt like. One night, as Maya put the kids to bed, Ethan quietly asked her, "How do you talk to them like that?" She looked up, smiled sadly, and said, "Because I once was a little girl too, just wishing someone would listen." Ethan didn't know what to say. But he began to see her. Not just as a nanny, but as a woman with layers, pain, strength, courage, and love. Maya had her own scars. Her husband left when Sana was barely 1. She cleaned floors at night, typed documents all day, barely slept. She did everything alone. For Sana. And now, somehow, she was doing everything for 3 more children who weren't even hers. One evening, Sana looked up at Ethan during dinner and asked innocently, "Why can't you be my papa too?" That moment hung in the air like a dropped teacup. Ethan looked at Maya. Maya looked down. But smiled. From that day forward, things slowly changed. Not with grand romantic gestures. But with little things. A cup of tea Ethan made for Maya after a long day. A coat he left by the door for her on cold mornings. Books he bought for Sana. And a small piano where Riley, Raina, and Rory would sing songs they made up for Mommy Maya. On the triplets' birthday, Ethan held a backyard celebration. Fairy lights, cupcakes, laughter. At the end of the party, he gathered all 4 kids and Maya, got down on one knee. And didn't pull out a ring. Instead, he pulled out a storybook. The title read, "The Family That Found Each Other." He handed it to Maya and said, "You taught us how to love again. You wrote new stories in this house with your heart. Maya, would you stay as our family?" Tears flowed down Maya's cheeks as she nodded. Sanaa cheered, "Yay. I have a dad now." The triplets hugged Maya, screaming, "We finally have a mommy again." Ethan whispered to Maya, "You didn't just survive the triplets. You saved them." And just like that, the mansion was no longer cold. It had warmth. Not from the fireplace, but from 5 beating hearts that chose to